What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Brian. Wanted to talk to you about the recently released FM3 new firmware. It just came out of beta. It's officially out, Firmware 8. And if you didn't already like the FM3 before, I think this update is going to do it for you because there's so many great things that are going on. There's a ton of fixes. There's an improved trem block. There's a new drive pedal based on the Noble's ODR1. There's tons of new amps models that they did. And one of my favorite things, the big ticket items of this firmware are the new Cygnus X-3 amp modeling. Now it's coming to the FM3. It's here. And I liked it from the forum, their forum post. It says it's the latest amp modeling technology for the Cygnus X-3, the FM9, and the FM3. It improves the sound, feel, and accuracy of the models, making them closer to the real-world counterparts with more rumble and bite and other nasty things that tube amps do. For my money, I think the Fractal stuff sounds the best. You know, I've tried so many different modelers over the years, but I've stuck with stuff like the AX8 and the FM3 now. I just think it sounds really good. But the biggest, not just to mention all those amazing updates to the amp block, which sound phenomenal, but the biggest update is the gapless switching. And it's for presets, it's for scenes, it's for channels. If you ever were bugged by that little, tiny gap in between changes on your channels or your presets or even from scene to scene, and you had to do it really methodically back in the past, well, you don't have to worry about that anymore because this firmware fixes that, and I can't believe they packed that into a small device like this. But I'm just psyched. I always, like I said, I always love the Fractal FM3, and I think this just makes it the best compact unit for this type of stuff out there. But I saw a lot of confusion online for people that are like, what do I do? How do I get the gapless stuff going? Do I have to update all my presets? And you can update each preset one by one, but that's insane. I'm going to show you a way to do that all really, relatively quickly right now. So the first thing you want to do is talk about, especially on this new firmware, getting into the gapless stuff. So you're going to go to your main panel. I like to do it on the actual unit itself because there's a couple things that we have to do on the unit that you can't do elsewhere. So I figure might as well just get it all done here. So first thing you got to do is go to Setup here. And then what you want to do is you want to scroll down with the nav down to Global Settings and hit Enter. And then you get down to these new settings. So I believe in the beta these were turned off, but now in the this new firmware, the official release, gapless changes is set to all. And I think this spillover was set to potentially to off. I had to change that. So these are the biggest two things that you want to make sure that are on if you want to get the gapless. So gapless changes set to all, and then spillover set to all. You can change the spillover settings, whether you want like just reverb, just delay, whatever you think is best for your play style. But for right now, I like to keep those trails going on so there's no weird jankiness between the presets. So that's number one. That's how to get the gapless going. But then, like amp blocks have been changed around and it sounds a whole lot better than it did even before. What you have to do now is you have to, rather than update each individual preset, there's a cool thing over the last couple of versions you can do so that you can update all the presets at once. So you go back, you exit out of there, and you go back and you go into Utilities, just hit Enter. And now I'm already there, but you just use your page buttons to get there to this preset section where it says preset here, and it'll say upgrade all presets. And what we want to do is push A. I won't do it right now because I already did it on this unit. But what I'll tell you is, I have, close to 600 presets on here right now. And I think it took about 21, 22 minutes to get everything going. So that's it. I think there's been, like I said, a lot of confusion around this stuff, but just do those two things. You don't have to worry about saving it after that. Everything is already saved and you're all set. So you don't have to worry. It actually goes through each individual preset and kind of makes that configuration to the amp model to make sure everything is right for you. After that, you can just exit out. And I won't play a ton here, but I just want to show you how the gapless stuff works so you really see it in action. I think the best thing is just to, try to listen for it. The crazy thing is, if you're going from a distorted model to a clean model, or you're going to different presets with different effects, you might think you're hearing some sort of gap, but there really is none. So the first thing is, I'll just show you the differences between scenes, and then I'll just go between a couple presets so you can hear what's going on. So this is the Plexi 100 watt. I'm playing a PRS S2 McCarty 594, and this is how that sounds. So if I hold a note and I go between all these different scenes, I'll just play, a little pentatonic thing. I don't know if you can hear that, but I mean, the good thing is you shouldn't be able to hear it. I'll play an A chord here, and I'm just going to scroll through some of the scenes again. And what you hear there is the preset scene changing. So if it sounds like, oh man, it's actually changing the sound, it is changing the sound. The difference between scene 1 and scene 2 and scene 3 might be different EQ, of course, or like I said, different effects. So that is wild to me. All my custom presets too have been updated and sound really, really great. And it's nice not to have that gap anymore. But so that's pretty wild, right? But then you can also have preset to preset gapless. So if we play that A chord again. That's kind of it, right? I mean, it's just unbelievable to me. Like I said, FM3 continues to be my favorite amp modeler, effects modeler. I think it's amazing. It's great to bring with you to a gig. And now with the gapless and the updated amp blocks, it is just insane. And like, you got to thank the guys over at Fractal for continuing to put out updates for this stuff. Like I said, I had an AX8 before this, and now I have have had this FM3 for a while. And just it's amazing that we're finally on firmware 8 right now. There's been so many great updates. The forums are so fun, to read and check out. So if you are a fan of the FM3, I would say back up your presets and get right into this as soon as possible. Oh, one thing I did want to talk to you about that I did see in the release notes was that if you save a preset in this version and for whatever version you wanted to go back, I don't think they're compatible anymore. So that's why it's so important to have a backup of your presets and also, past versions of the firmware and everything. Other thing that is going on is that you do have to update the FM3 edit, which will kind of be done as soon as you update that firmware. It'll give you a message, and that's pretty much it. So if you have an FM3 or you've been trying this out now that it's officially released, or you tried the beta, let me know what you think about it in the comments. And let me know what your favorite amp is too, because I always like trying new stuff, and there's so many things to try on this unit that it kind of, sometimes it's so much. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon.